Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you up to date on the EPA and new water decisions. McCarthy introduces new space legislation, news from China Lake, Cerro Costa College, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
I'm Tom Whitnick, and here's what's news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Since we have been discussing a lot about water in the valley, here's what the EPA is doing to make matters even worse. This affects the whole country, but this article focuses on Kern County impacts. Here's information on how the EPA is joining the significant expansion of EPA regulatory reach. Walter Logue says, many claim the EPA Waters of the United States rule targets farmers and could cost the state and landowners millions of dollars. According to Kern County Water Agency Assistant General Manager Brett Walthall, the EPA's proposed Waters of the United States rule is an overreach. Walthall said 430 of the association's public water agency members expressed their collective opinion the rule should be rescinded and the EPA should craft a new rule consistent with the Clean Water Act. As a result, in 2014, the association sent a 6-page response letter requesting the EPA and Army Corps of Engineers withdraw the 2011 guidance and instead conduct a formal rule-making process. It acknowledged the importance of water quality improvements brought about by the Clean Water Act and noted the association's history of encouraging the EPA to use existing authorities to prevent pollutants from entering California's drinking water supply. Walthall said the major concern with the proposed rule is the new definition of water bodies defined as waters of the United States and subject to EPA regulations. Prior to the proposed rule, most farm canals and ditches were not regulated by the EPA because they were non-navigable. But under the proposed rule, most farm canals and ditches would be EPA regulated. This significant expansion of EPA regulatory reach is controversial nationwide. The EPA received over 1 million comments on the proposed rule. The association said for waters to achieve their water quality and reliability goals, predictability and certainty are need to be determined if a water body is subject to jurisdiction of the CWA. The association's letter says the EPA instead introduces new concepts, definitions, and tests vastly expanding the universe of waters defined as water of the United States to better balance the broad interest of the Clean Water Act in protecting the nation's surface waters while not unduly interfering with the ability of water agencies to provide water. The Clean Water Agency's recommended changes to the proposed rule. KZGN will follow up on the EPA proposed Waters of the U.S. rule and its effect on land and water use. In news out of Washington, in an effort to encourage more commercial development of space flights, the Space Act has been introduced by House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who represents our district, including Edwards Air Force Base and the Mojave Air and Spaceport, along with House Chairman Lamar Smith and Space Subcommittee Chairman Steve Palazzo. The broadly based bill is aimed at updating the Commercial Space Launch Act. Among its provisions, the bill would extend the so-called learning period during which the FAA is prohibited from issuing new regulations for commercial human spaceflight until 2023. That restriction currently expires on September 30th of this year. It also allows industry to develop voluntary industry standards and requires a report from the Secretary of Transportation in 2021 on the industry's progress in that regard, and an independent assessment of the readiness of industry and government to transition to a framework that may include regulations. Plus, it will extend the government's ability to indemnify commercial space launch companies from certain amounts of third-party losses through 2023. The current authority expires in 2016. It will require updating the methodology to establish the maximum probable loss used by the FAA to establish requirements for companies to obtain third-party liability insurance. It will add and define government astronaut as a type of personnel that may be aboard a commercial human spaceflight mission. It will require a study by an independent contractor of frameworks for space traffic management, and it will make a sense of Congress statement that launch facilities developed, owned, or operated by states should take proper measures to secure their investments and the safety of third parties from potential damages. That language probably is in response to the damage caused by the failure of Orbital's Antares rocket at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport Facility at NASA's Wallops Flight Facility in October 2014. The Mars facility is owned by the state of Virginia rather than the federal government. And although Orbital had purchased required insurance under its FAA license and other insurance for the company purposes, Virginia did not buy insurance to cover its potential losses. Virginia's two senators led efforts to add $20 million to the FY 2015 appropriations bill that funds NASA to cover those losses, but the Obama administration is reluctant to release those funds. The commercial spaceflight industry applauds these efforts to provide better control of the growing industry. Last month, the China Lake Tactical Engineer Development Program sponsored a program called Threat Pilots and Tactics Program. The program was the precursor to Select Weapons Division personnel maintaining proper qualifications. More than 90 people from the Naval Air Warfare Center Weapons Division attended the Top Gun Intelligence Officer discussion. The conference provided current information in air-to-air and maritime strike training. The course encompasses an intensive 25 days of material covering operations in modern air warfare. Selected candidates are slated to attend presentations from active duty Navy and Air Force instructors, interactive sessions with night vision devices and flight simulators, and multimedia courses operated by the faculty from the Naval Postgraduate School and Weapons Division experts. Program lead and former Naval Flight Officer Ian Anderson lobbied with WD leadership and his active contacts within the fleet to secure funding for the program and attach lecturers like McVan to its future classes. The Weapons Division workforce is an integral part of naval aviation, said Anderson, as much so as the aviators and mechanics that work on the aircraft. It is important that our professional scientists and engineers gain exposure to the realities of the operational environment so that the strengths of their products can be applied against the weaknesses of our adversaries who exist in an ever-changing tactical paradigm. The program is comprised of 25 workdays spanning from May to September 2015. Eligible candidates were nominated by division heads and IPT leads via submission of a complete application. This is an important program to keep China Lake engineers at the forefront of the needs of the fleet and keep the Weapons Division at China Lake as the lead for development of new air-to-air, air-to-ground, and maritime strike weapons development. Stay with us for news out of China Lake when we come back. In Saracosa College news, the college is now holding a commencement exercise. This year, more than 320 degrees and certificates will be conferred on Friday, May 15th, in the gymnasium of the Raymond A. McHugh Athletic Complex. The gym is located on the west side of College Heights Boulevard in Ridgecrest. The ceremony will begin at 6 p.m., where Saracosa will be honoring eligible graduates. Participating graduates will include graduates participating from the Indian Wells Valley campus, Kern River Valley campus in Lake Isabel, East Kern Center at Edwards Air Force Base, and online campus. A separate ceremony was held at the Eastern Sierra College Center located in Bishop on Friday, May 8th. Saracosa is very proud of its graduates, and we would like to extend a warm invitation to the community to join us in honoring their outstanding accomplishments, said Saracosa President Joe Board. So gather your family and friends and join together at the Raymond McHugh Athletic Complex located on the west side of College Heights Boulevard in Ridgecrest this Friday, 6 p.m. Celebrate your favorite graduate. Your presence will cheer them on as they cross this important milestone. Once again, that's this Friday, 6 p.m. at the Raymond A. McHugh Athletic Complex located on the west side of College Heights Boulevard in Ridgecrest for Saracosa Commencement Exercise 2015. We don't know how else to say it other than be there and don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to cheer on and celebrate your favorite graduate. And I have to take the liberty in congratulating our KZGN traffic manager, Jolene Sen, for graduating there as well. Oh, and by the way, she's my granddaughter. Way to go, Jolene. I'm so proud of you. Last week, we reported that there was going to be a biker blessing event last Saturday, hosted by Calvary Chapel up in College Heights. This was the 10th anniversary event Well, the event went off and was a huge success. Over 350 motorcyclists attended. They attended a prayer service and then proceeded into the parking lot to start up their motorcycles. What a roar that was. The group then paraded through Ridgecrest. They went down China Lake Boulevard to Inyakern Road, then west on Inyakern Road to the end of the route. All the bikers loved the event. In local event news, the China Lake Alliance has announced that Rear Admiral Patrick Lorge, Commander, Navy Region Southwest, will be their featured speaker at their luncheon this Friday. The luncheon will be at noon, Friday, May 15th, at the Spring Hill Suites Conference Room. Admiral Lorge has piloted F-18s and F-14s. He also was commander of VFA 25 at Oceana, Washington, D.C. His current duties are for the management of 10 major Navy installations in the Southwest region, which includes the Naval Air Weapons Station here at China Lake. At the luncheon, he'll be addressing energy, environment, and water security. Cost of lunch will be $25. Reservations are required so they can have the right amount of food prepared. Please RSVP your attendance to Jan Bennett at 760-382-4488 or email to iwvedc@gmail.com. In news from the China Lake Museum Foundation, they are announcing their annual fundraiser dinner to be held this Saturday, May 30th at 5 p.m. at the Kerr-McGee Center. This is the organization that funds operations on the U.S. Naval Museum of Armament and Technology on base. But the foundation is now announcing that they now have plans to move the museum off base into the city. Lately, access to the museum is increasingly difficult due to security measures on the base. This has impacted people's access to the museum for years. They're reporting that they have an agreement with Ridgecrest Regional Hospital for the hospital to buy the office building across the street from the hospital. This is a brand new building that has been vacant for many years. In agreement between the hospital and the museum, they have agreed to lease the building from the hospital for 5 years. This will allow them to finally establish the museum in the city where access will improve greatly. If you've never seen this museum, you're missing a really great asset. When it moves into the city, make sure you visit. Also, plan on attending their fundraiser dinner Saturday, May 30th. Now in KZGN, continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for. Here are today's local gas prices for your information. Well, since Monday, prices locally and abroad have jumped up dramatically. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $3.53 to $3.99. Lancaster is going from $3.59 to $4.19. LA Valley area is $3.59 to $4.05, and the Bishop area $3.52 to $3.85. We have 4 stations coming in at the $3.53 figure. The cheapest price in Lancaster area and all other areas we monitor remain more than Ridgecrest. Way to go, Ridgecrest gas stations. Tune in with us 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally and fill up here to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay any sales tax out of town, you're helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Stay with us for weather and sports after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. At our national look, moderate to heavy rainfall will bring a continued threat of flash flooding and river flooding across parts of the southern plains, especially across Texas and Oklahoma, where flood watches and warnings are in effect across much of these states. Severe thunderstorms are possible Wednesday afternoon and evening across part of central and southern Texas. Temperatures across the region: Massachusetts 67, Carolinas both came in at 77, Florida 90 degrees, Atlanta 83, Ohio 67, Texas 68, Missouri 70 degrees, Montana came in at 56, Utah 71, Arizona 85 degrees, Southern Oregon 61 degrees, San Francisco 63 degrees, and Los Angeles came in today at 67. For us locally here in the IWV, tonight will be partly cloudy with a low around 56, breezy with a southwest wind 10 to 20 miles per hour with gusts as high as 30. Thursday, 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 11 a.m., mostly cloudy with a high near 70, west-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusts as high as 25. Thursday night, the chance of showers and thunderstorms continue, 40%, mostly cloudy with a low around 50, breezy with a southwest wind 20 to 25 miles per hour. Wind gusts high as 40. On Friday, the chance of showers and thunderstorms will continue possibly after 11 a.m. Partly sunny at times with a high near 68, south-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, chance of rain 50%. Friday night, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms before 11 p.m., mostly cloudy with a low around 51, west wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. And on Saturday, we will be mostly sunny with a high near 78, west-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is your local weather report for the IWV. Now back to Tom and the rest of your KZGN news.
Thanks, Keith. Now let's go to Tom Heck for our sports report.
And a very pleasant Wednesday afternoon to everybody. Let's start locally. Burroughs High School baseball. Boy, they're on a roll. They easily defeated Sultana yesterday here at town, 9-2. They beat the Sultans. Now that means that Burroughs is in sole possession of second place. They'll play again Thursday over at Sultana. If Burroughs can win that game, they will have sole possession of second place and more than likely be guaranteed a home game for the playoffs starting next week. The Burroughs now with a record of 7-2 in the league and a very good overall record of 18-5. John Bradley, props to you and the team. All right, let's talk about softball. The Burroughs lost a very tough game 4-3 yesterday at Serrano. That hurts their playoff chances some. They're now 4-5. Overall, they're 11-11. They'll play Sultana here on Thursday. Now, Burroughs needs to win that game to have any hopes of trying to get into the playoffs starting next week. All right, let's talk about the NBA. LeBron James steps up, plays wonderfully as the Cavaliers beat the Bulls 106-101 in Cleveland. Game 6 will be back in Chicago. And then if the Bulls can win that one, it'll set up Game 7 over the weekend back in Cleveland. The winner will go on to the Eastern Division Final against the winner of Atlanta, who is playing a little bit better right now. They'll play Washington tonight in Atlanta. Now that series is tied at 2-2, so we'll see what happens with that one. Houston stays alive. They beat the Clippers 124-103 down in Texas last night. 3-2 now, the score for the Clippers in that best of 7. The teams will play again tomorrow night at Staples Center. The Clippers trying to put Houston away and go to the Western Conference Finals. Probably, and I'm saying probably, against Golden State, although those two teams battle tonight. That series tied at 2-2. We've had some very good semifinal series this year in the NBA, a lot of good parity, which is what fans like to see. All right, baseball. The Angels beat Colorado last night. They scored 4 in the 8th inning to do that. The Dodgers crushed Miami. The Dodgers playing really well. It's a shame we can't watch them play. You have to have Time Warner, which no one up in the high IWV area or the high desert does, but maybe they'll renegotiate next year to see the boys in blue. Other winners last night in baseball: Seattle, Arizona, the A's, St. Louis, Toronto wins, Pittsburgh playing very well. Detroit playing very well. They win again. The Reds, the Rays, the Cubs, the Royals defeat the Rangers. Rangers been playing very well themselves. They had won 6 of 7. Now they get cooled off a bit. Also, San Francisco and the White Sox win last night, a full night of baseball. Okay, NHL fans, Eastern Division semifinals. The Lightning defeat the Capitals. They will now play in the Eastern Finals. Well, boxing fans, Manny Pacquiao had shoulder surgery, and he tells everyone that he's going to go to the Philippines and do 6 months of rehabilitation, and then, you guessed it, he wants to fight Floyd Mayweather again. And I think Mayweather will agree to it. It'll be another big payday. Maybe this time, though, they'll reduce the rate of what it costs to watch it. Instead of $99, maybe they'll go down to $59 and give everyone a special. Who knows? But rematch or not, they'll probably have a very big interest of a lot of comments to see if that is going to happen again. I think it'd be fun to have that rematch, another $85 billion, and they can split the purse, and who knows what. It's the way things have gone with the world of sports. All right, that's it for this Wednesday. I'm Tom Heck, sports for KZGN.
Tomorrow we'll have a report from City Hall on how the Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting went today. So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay with us as we watch a cat doing the dishes, or is he just trying to figure out a kitchen sink?